Does it smell like gas in here? Anyways, hey everyone, welcome to Zane Morgan Crafts. Hi, ho, hello. Welcome to Zane Morgan Crafts. I am Zane Morgan. If you do not know that by now, now you do. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I make stupid little skits in the beginning and sometimes the ends of my videos, and I show you quick, simple tutorials on how to make cool shit. I'm going a little bit more in depth, so this video is a lot longer, and we're going to dive into Blender, and I'm going to show you how to make this. Yeah. Make it on here, take it over to a 3D printer, and you can start printing your own terrain, which is what I do all the time. I incorporate my designs into my builds. That's my thing. So let's do this. Let's get into it. Welcome. All right, so first things first, we need to open Blender. I am running Blender 2.91. It doesn't really matter which version because, yeah, they all have the functions that I'm using pretty much. So first, starting off, I am enabling my screencast keys so you can see what I'm doing on my keyboard and my mouse. So we are going to first import an image, and this is just a quick Google search. If you're gonna follow along with me, I will include a link to it in the description. So you're gonna wanna go under Add, Image, Background, and then select your file location. That's going to import a plain object with your image on it, and that's only going to be viewed from the ortho view that you're in. So in this case, viewing on the x-axis. So you want to select your cube using the right click, and then you're going to hit G for grab and hit Z to move it up on the z-axis. Next, we're going to hit Z again, and that's going to bring up the shading selector, which is gonna allow you to view it in different ways, but we're gonna select wireframe. It's gonna give you a see-through skeleton view of your mesh. And we're gonna hit S to skew it down, and you can type in a value or you can just use your mouse to scale it down. And we want to get it to around the size of the object we're creating or the image we're creating. So match it up as best you can with the image. Doesn't have to be perfect at this point. And then you're just gonna play around with it. So you can hit S and then different values, so like Y, X, Z, and that's gonna skew it on different planes. And you just wanna get that to the general shape that you're looking for. And once you're satisfied with that, we are going to go up to the mode selector. That's gonna be in the top corner here. It'll say object mode. You want to hit edit mode. And that'll bring us to where we can fine tune everything. Pause. So I wanted to stop this video real quick to just say thank you so much for all my subscribers. We have reached over 100 now that I'm editing this video. That is our first big milestone for this channel. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to you. You are making my dream possible. Thank you. So here you're gonna see me playing around with another toggle, and that's on the top right corner. This is your ortho view selector, so it's going to show you different views depending what you click, and that's going to be your straightest view of the object, and those are going to be along the X, Y, and Z axes. And when we're satisfied with a view, we're going to add some subdivisions, which is adding points to the mesh, which you can then manipulate. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control R, and that's gonna have you select on the mesh where you want it to add a subdivision. And so what we want to do is select where you see lines on the image, and that's gonna give you pivot points or different orientations that we can adjust. So like here, this is where the structure is coming out into like a decorative trim. You're gonna add different subdivision layers there so we can skew them outward and create some depth into the mesh. Next, we're gonna hit B, and that's gonna bring up box selection. and it's going to create a literal box of selection. And you're going to highlight the upper two vertices, which are the little boxes on top of the lines. And if you accidentally hit the bottom vertices or vertices you don't want, again, hit B, but hold down Shift, and that will deselect whatever you highlight. And then we're going to hit G when we got what we want selected, hit Z, and pull down. And next, we're going to select the bottom part, and we're going, again, box select, and then hit S, hit Z, and move it downwards so it matches that shape. And to cancel a selection, you just hit Escape, and that will deselect whatever. But yeah, so the next process is just selecting different vertices and skewing outwards to match your image. So basically you're just tracing. It's super easy. Now, since we're making this for 3D printing, we want to make sure that it is printable. And if you notice here, I have some vertices when I skew go inside of other vertices, and you don't really want that. So we're gonna skew them on the Z-axis and make sure that they're not overlapping, because if they overlap, you're gonna get an ugly print, or it's gonna mess up in the slicing software. So you want to make it as simple as possible, especially starting out, to get a feel for it. And I'm not going to say much for the next couple seconds because I really want you to pay attention to what I'm doing with the keystrokes and in the program, because it's really simple. Once you learn the keystrokes and how to manipulate stuff, you don't even think, you just go. And like I said, it's exactly like tracing, especially if you're using a reference image. But by all means, if you guys have questions, reach out to me. You can comment down below, ask me questions. I will respond as soon as I see them. You'll see here that I hit the letter A on the keyboard, and what that does is it selects all. So that selects all of the mesh that I'm working in. And if you hit it again, it'll deselect. And I often use this as a shortcut to select and deselect things. Often when you're making these meshes, you find you need more areas to manipulate or add variations to the depth, and feel free to go in and add more subdivisions. It'll only add to the realism. All right, so I think we're done with the bottom part here. And so we're gonna hit Z and change the view from wireframe over to solid. And you can just spin the model around and see what it looks like. It looks good to me. So we're gonna go back to the ortho view and switch it back to wireframe. And next we're gonna tackle adding some text. But first we're gonna inset this face here. So we're gonna make it go inwards. And to change from vertices to faces, we're going to select this little doodad here. Each face or plane is selectable. So it'll select 4 vertices, or whichever corresponding vertices make up that quote unquote face. So we're gonna select the 4 faces of where we want to inset. So we're gonna hit I on our keyboard and then scale inwards. And then here you're gonna notice that they are moving exactly the same along every 4 faces. We don't want it to be like that. We don't want it to cover the whole edge of it. So we're gonna go down into the menu here on the bottom left, and we're gonna select individual, and that's going to control each of these faces individually, which will give us more of what we want. Now we're gonna select just 2 faces, the ones parallel to each other, and we're gonna scale those to the size that we want. We want it to be equal on all 4 sides. And then we're gonna flip it around to the other view
and mirror exactly what's on the other side. Okay, next we're gonna go inward. So we're going to go into the top view, so hit Z, and then we're gonna have all 4 of those faces selected and press E to extrude. You're gonna hit escape to cancel that default skewing, but then you're going to hit S and skew it in yourself. And you're only gonna do it a little bit. You don't want it to be too deep. And then we're gonna go back out to the X ortho view. And again, we're gonna have all those faces selected, and then we're gonna skew on the Z axis so it looks even on all 4 of the bevels. And after that, we are done. We are ready to add the text, but first we're gonna build the column. Okay, so we're gonna start by zooming out and getting a good look at our column. We're gonna go back into the wireframe view, and we're going to box select the top vertices, and then we're gonna hit Shift S, and we're gonna select cursor to selected, and that's gonna bring the blender cursor to a median point of where we have selected, and that's gonna come in handy for our next step, which is we're gonna go to the add menu, go down to cylinder. We're gonna change the vertice count. So here we're gonna hit, instead of 32, we're gonna type in 100, so it's gonna be nice and smooth. The lower the number of vertices, the rougher the circle is gonna be. So you can actually make it into like a hexagon, octagon, pentagon, all that fun stuff. But we want it to be smooth, so we're gonna select 100. And then we're gonna scale down to about the size of the base here. And then we're going to box select the top vertices and bring it all the way to the top of the column. And then we're going to extrude up. And this is another way of adding subdivisions. We're just extruding off of our other points. And once we match that, we're gonna go down back to the base and we're gonna add 4 subdivisions. And that's gonna help us create that curved base. So now, just like the bottom part that we did, we're just gonna start skewing things outward and making sure that they match the shape that we were sketching. So you're gonna be using a lot of box select and skew for these. And then when we're done with the base, we're gonna move all the way up to the top. And again, we're gonna mimic the shape. It doesn't match up perfectly with the image that we have, but that's okay. We get the idea. So again, we are just skewing outwards by box selecting some vertices, and we're creating that semicircle shape.
And now I'm just going in and kind of fine tuning things. So just kind of fitting things along to the contour by selecting, grabbing, skewing, just getting it to a place where I'm happy with it.
And now we're going to extrude up and we're going to skew along the way, and we're just going to build it layer by layer to have it how we want. I keep saying it, but it's true. We're pretty much just sketching with Blender.
Okay, so again, we're hitting E to extrude, and that's just building up layers. And as we're going up, we're hitting S to skew it along a contour. And here we're just kind of taking some liberties because this image is a little bit pixelated. So I'm just kind of making it my own at this point, giving it some decorative edges so it's not just a boring straight line. And now we're gonna go in towards the curve here. So we're gonna skew up, add some subdivisions, create an inward facing curve, and we're just building out.
Now when we get to the top here, since we're extruding, it is creating a flat face on the top, and that's going to be where the mini is going to sit. But for now, we are done with the base structure. We're now going to move on to the text. It is time for the fun part. We are going to add text. So we're going to go up to the add menu, And you're going to go over to text. You're going to then go into the top view. So hit the Z and you're going to see a giant thing that says text. And now we're going to go over to the mode select menu. We're going to go into the edit mode and we're going to delete the text. So we're going to backspace. And next we're going to type in what we want our text to say. I just picked a quote. For all sad words of tongue and pen, the saddest are these, it might have been. And we're going to get it to the form that we want. So this is just like typing in a Word document. You're going to press enter to enter a new paragraph and so on. I don't really like the default font. So we're going to go over into the side menu here. We're going to click the little A symbol and that is for text. And then we're going to select font and we're going to hit the little folder button. Now, if you want to download any custom fonts, you can go to any free website that offers them, such as 1001 free fonts, that sort of thing. And you're going to select your text file after you download it. And if you're on a Mac, they're going to look like this. You're going to select that. And now your text is in that font. So next, we're going to go back out into object mode. And we're going to go into the right orthographic view. So we're going to hit that X button. And then we're going to hit R, and that's going to rotate. And you're going to type in 90, and that's going to rotate it 90 degrees. And then you see it is still not visible from that right ortho view. So we're going to go over and hit Z for the top view. And we're going to type in 90 again, and that's going to flip it to how we want it. So now it is legible. And now we're going to scale it down. So we're going to hit S. And again, this is in object mode, because if we're in edit mode, at least with the text, it's going to edit the text, and anything we type is going to end up in the text field. So make sure you are in the object mode and hit S, scale down, and we're going to get it to the size that we want it. Okay, now that we've got that figured out in place where we want it, we need to extrude the text out so that it is legible in the 3D print. Because if we have it how it is now, nothing's going to print. It's just going to look like a flat surface. So we need to give it some depth. So we're still going to be over in the text menu on the side, and we're going to go over to geometry and then extrude. And we're going to hit the little tab. You can also type in a number here, but we just want to do it in increments, and we want to have it jetting out, not too crazy, but just about what you would see it in a real life monolith such as this. And when you're happy with that, we're going to select that text and we're going to hit Shift D for duplicate. And then we're going to hit R to rotate, and then 90. And you might need to do -90. That way it's still legible from that view. Otherwise it'll be backwards. And then we're just going to place it around the same depth, and we're just going to repeat the process on each of the 4 faces. And that's it. We've now added text to our piece. So that means we are ready to take it over to our slicing software, which allows you to print your mesh. I use CHITUBOX. You can use anything you want, but I'm going to show you CHITUBOX. So you're going to go over to File. You're going to select Export STL, and you're going to save it as whatever you want. And then we're going to open up CHITUBOX, and we're going to select Open File. You're going to select your STL file, and then CHITUBOX is going to open that up. And here, see how small it is? It's going to say this is too small, and then you're going to select Scale it to fit, and then it's going to make it bigger. And now we see it's really tall. And while it could probably print like this, we're going to angle it, and we're going to save ourselves some print time, and we're going to make it go long ways. Now I also angle it so it's not just a flat surface down. We want it to be as small of a print surface as possible per layer. That way it's less stress on your 3D printer. So once you get it to where you want it, you're going to go over to the support tool. You're going to let it pre-process, and you're going to hit all. and that's going to generate some supports. Now, usually it does a pretty good job. Here I'm just going to use what it says. And once it processes, you hit slice. It's going to show you a preview of what it's going to send over to the printer. So when you're happy with that, you hit save. You're going to select your USB drive, and it is ready to go onto your printer. Now, occasionally when you import things from Blender into CHITUBOX, you'll find that there's a dark section on your mesh, and usually what that means is that the normal map was messed up, and when your normals are messed up, it's not going to print properly. So you want to go back into Blender, and you're going to hit A to select all under edit mode, and then you're going to go to mesh, normals, and then hit recalculate outside. And then you're gonna re-export that STL, import it back into CHITUBOX, and here, we got it here. You'll see that the problem is fixed, so now it's good to go. You wanna have a uniform blue color. You don't want that big dark part of the mesh. That means it's gonna not work properly. Just a quick fix. You just, again, wanna go back into Blender and recalculate your normals. So that's my process. That's as easy as I could explain it to you in this medium, at least. If you guys have any questions, I'm sure you do, please feel free to comment below, ask me questions. I will get back to them as soon as I can, and try and help you the best that I can. Good news, if you want a more in-depth tutorial on using Blender for 3D printing, I will be on the Crazy Crafter live stream. It's actually going to be a 2-part live stream. The first day is May 19th. The second will be the 22nd. So that'll be really fun. I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you guys tune in for that. Again, that's on May 19th and May 22nd. So we will be doing a more in-depth Blender tutorial where I will be answering questions and guiding everybody through the process. Yay! But again, if you have immediate questions, feel free to comment below on this video. If you have questions about the build, let me know. I will do my best to answer them. Again, this is the end result. Wunderbar. Wonderful. Awesome. Yay! So if you like this, please like the video. Comment on the video. Give me a sub if I've helped you, or if this is a gateway drug. Because I know for me, I love to be able to take things from my mind, print them out, use them in my builds. It just adds that little touch. So I'm also working on some more STLs to sell on Etsy. Again, it's probably going to be like a pack of 20, and it's probably again going to be about $5. That money goes towards helping me, helping the channel, helping me help you. So yeah, check it out. I have my link on my YouTube page, and I also have some free downloads. They're not on the Etsy. They're on my Colts 3D account, which I will link below. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.